Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Mtd Itsa. That's Making Tax Digital Income Tax Self-Assessment. And the fact it's been delayed and what that means for you and for us and for everyone involved. So join me as we have a little bit of a talk about an update about Mtd Itsa. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer, fancy new logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, and also head of account here at Boffix. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about the fact that Mtd Itsa has been delayed. Now first of all, what is Mtd Itsa? Well, if you think about it currently, if you have a requirement to do a tax return, then it's pretty straightforward. A personal tax return needs to be completed once every single year. And we run in a tax year of 6th of April to the 5th of April. And effectively, when the 5th of April comes along and we go from one tax year to another, then currently your requirement is to go and actually file a tax return on the 31st of January. And that 31st of January has been around for a long, long time. But Mtd Itsa is designed to completely change that. Instead of having that one tax return that needs to be completed by the 31st of January, your requirement is to submit 4 updates throughout the year. So think of them as the quarterly updates. And then you're going to have one other return to complete by probably the 31st of January. Now, the fact MTD has been delayed means that these things could all change. But currently what that means is you're going from one tax return to complete each and every year to 5. And that can be quite scary. And in some circumstances, it's not just the 1 to 5, there'll be multiple returns to do if you've got multiple forms of self-employed income. Think of rental and self-employed. At some point, you might not just have one tax return to do, but you could have 11, 15 or more. Now, being such a huge change, HMRC have had to do a lot of work to get that up and running. And they've relied on people like ourselves, accountants, to be able to find systems and solutions that's going to help people to get that done. Because one of the other requirements of Mtd Itsa is that you can't just go onto an online portal and submit it, HMRC in our case, but you'll have to use software to get those submissions done. Now, I'm actually a beta tester for Mtd Itsa, and with my beta testing for Mtd Itsa, I've been able to actually do that whole process. I use a piece of software, QuickBooks in our case, and I've been able to submit on a quarterly basis for my self-employed income. Now, it's already caused a few issues and problems, and there's been some types, and that's just me as one individual. So the reason it's been delayed is to try and make sure there's none of these issues or problems going forward. So we can understand the delay, but what does the delay mean to us? Well, first of all, the delay is actually a good thing for most people listening here, because that gives you more time to get yourself prepared. And the reason you've probably clicked on this video in the first place is because you're curious what Mtd Itsa is all about. So that delay, that extra time, and in this case, it seems like we've got an extra 2 years, then that means we've got plenty of time to try and figure out exactly what that means, how Mtd Itsa is going to be done, and we've already been told by HMRC they're going to do it in a staged approach. So it's not that everyone has to go in and get Mtd Itsa from day one, but there's going to be criteria. So if your turnover is X amount, then you'll have to submit by Mtd Itsa, but if your turnover is Y amount, then you won't have to. Now again, they've announced these figures now, but I'm not going to put them out there because they're subject to change. Just know at the moment that there is going to be a stage approach to getting into Mtd Itsa. Okay, so the delay is a good thing in terms of getting people prepared. But what's the bad thing? Well, the bad thing is Mtd Itsa was actually going to be a really good thing. Now, I know a lot of people out there is going to be saying, why? Why would actually having to do more work, having to do more submissions be a good thing? Well, actually, it was going to force people to be able to ensure that their records were always up to date on a regular basis. See, at the moment, the majority of people just leave it till the last minute, 31st of January, to submit their tax return. And that causes undue stress, that causes undue issues, and it is a really difficult way to actually look at people being able to grow and maintain their business if they're leaving it to the last minute all the time. Whereas if we turn it on the other head and we had what we call real-time information and our data was always up to date and our business records were always going to be there, well, actually that's a good thing for your business. That gives you the opportunity to be able to see what your data says, how your business is doing, and be able to react to it in real time. And not only that, but Mtd Itsa start opening up other options as well. If we're all using software, then that means that when we send information to one another, then we could look at software to automatically record that for us. And that's going to start bringing in a lot more automation. It's going to give us a lot of elements that we can actually utilize. And as accountants, we were quite excited in what that meant for our profession going forward. Meaning that as accountants, we weren't just always just having to chase people for records. We knew the records were going to be there. We can actually start doing good with that record, helping businesses, bringing forward that information, looking to automate, looking to simplify the way people do the bookkeeping. All that aspect of it, that goodness that Mtd Itsa was going to bring, has now been delayed by 2 years. And now for the rant. Now for the reason that Mtd Itsa being delayed in the current format is actually a really awkward and annoying thing. The way it's currently been delayed means it's opened up a can of worms. Think of all the vendors who have created software solutions particularly for Mtd Itsa. Well, now they've got no incentive whatsoever or any reward for all the hard work they've done to get to this point. The beta for Mtd Itsa now becomes even less relevant for people because they've got another 2 years to wait on it. And there doesn't seem to be any incentive for people to go onto the beta in the first place. That's where I think there's been a big missed opportunity. You see, in my opinion, what should have happened is there should be an incentive for early adopters. If HMRC turned around and actually gave a financial incentive for people to be on the Mtd Itsa from earlier, then I know a lot of people would jump at that chance. Imagine a small little discount to your tax. Imagine being taxed at a different rate. Imagine somehow, one way or another, you actually were financially incentivized for going on the beta for Mtd Itsa. That'd be huge. And that would encourage more people to go on to the beta, meaning we can find more of these issues and problems and get them sorted before it goes live. The other thing I think is really frustrating is that this whole change of Mtd Itsa is one of the biggest changes that's ever happened to the tax system since it was introduced. Well, if it's such a big change, then why don't we give us opportunity to fix other issues we have with the tax systems already? For example, why are we still at the 5th of April? 5th of April makes no sense. Why don't we move that to the 31st of March? Or even better, so everyone can understand it, why don't we take a big jump and move it all the way to the 31st of December? Imagine how much simplified the whole tax system would be if we knew that a financial calendar year was going to be when we had to submit our actual personal tax return for. Everyone can understand that, right? If it's 2023 and I've got to complete a tax return for 2023 and I just need to include everything that has the date 2023, well, that's really simple. Currently, we've got to go through, well, some of my 2023 goes into this tax year and some of my 2023 into that tax year, and it gets really complicated. And it's one of the biggest problems that people have when they first have to complete a tax return is just understanding what their financial dates are. If we had simplified that, utilising this delay, I think that would actually be really beneficial. And I also think that this whole idea of having a tiered system to get into it completely negates the whole point of making tax digital. All we're going to do is cause more confusion. People are going to be confused as if they're in MTD or if they're out of MTD. And if anything, just like the VAT, it's going to stunt growth, because what's going to happen is it's going to mean that businesses are going to realistically stay below any threshold so they don't have extra administration to worry about, which is exactly what happens with VAT. Many a business that I know that get to the point where they get close to that £80,000 threshold and they just stop trading altogether. They are in the position where they feel it's much better to be under the threshold than over the threshold and have to deal with the headaches. And all that does is stunt growth. We need to incentivize businesses at the moment to go out there and to absolutely trade as much as they possibly can. Our economy is really struggling, and effectively stunting the growth of all our small businesses isn't going to help that. So I really feel like if we have to delay, which we have to delay, we should be utilising this time to make sure our whole tax system is as strong and as powerful as it possibly can be. So I think if we're having to do this delay, we should be making it a much more impactful event. Also, if you were going to do something as drastic as change the actual tax year itself, then more people will notice and more people will understand. And it'll become much more of an event. You're moving from the 5th of April to the 31st of March or even the 31st of December. And we're not just moving to that point, we're also going from non-making tax digital to making tax digital. That'll make life so much more black and white for people. And they understand that there is a literal line in the sand, and when you cross that line in the sand, you go from one tax system to the other. So there it is, that's our opinion. We at Boffix will still be pushing for as many clients as possible to be ready for making tax digital. Our view is to forget about the delay. Let's just build all our systems now, get everything ready so that we are already compliant on our clients' behalf for making tax digital. And I encourage you to do the same. If you're not already on a piece of software, make sure you get on that software. Don't forget, we offer discounted rates on QuickBooks Online on our e-store. So if you're looking to make that first jump, go over there now, get yourself involved. And if doing your own bookkeeping completely scares you, then have a look at our bookkeeping solutions, which is going to help you be able to just forget about all that red tape and just worry about building your business. Our motto at Boffix is making sure that small businesses don't just survive, but thrive. In our world, we think that making tax digital is actually going to be a positive step in making sure our businesses and our small businesses have that real-time information. And when you have that real-time information, you have the opportunity to make some really important decisions about your business. And for me, I can't think of a better reason to go making tax digital than that. And that's it. Let us know below, what do you think about making tax digital? Do you think the delay was right? Or do you think that they should have just gone with it regardless? At the end of the day, HMRC are going to dictate to us what we can and can't expect. But I am a little bit frustrated with a missed opportunity, and I feel absolutely gutted for a lot of those software developers out there who have put a lot of work and effort into creating a making tax digital compliance solution. Because ultimately what's happened is all of that has now got a 2-year extension to it until they can get any form of reward for it. And that just really sucks. But again, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? My name's been Patrick. As always, this video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.